Emergency, angelic warning. Someone in your family has already betrayed you, but you still trust them. Heaven has issued an emergency warning today. Yes, today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but this very day. There is a divine dispatch. There is an angelic alert. There is a cry rising from the throne of the Most High that is echoing into your spirit now. And you didn't stumble across this by accident. No, you were led. You were drawn. You were divinely interrupted for a purpose greater than your pain. Because heaven has seen what you have not, and heaven knows what you have been too trusting to discern. The betrayal is not minor. The betrayal is not a misunderstanding. The betrayal is spiritual. And it's close, closer than you've imagined. It is in your own house. It is among your own kin. It has crept in silently, cloaked in familiar voices and false compassion. And now, the alarm is being sounded, not to frighten you, but to prepare you. Archangel Michael, the commander of heaven's armies, has been released to war on your behalf. He has come with a sword of divine justice and flaming discernment, cutting through illusions, tearing through deception, and preparing you to stand in truth. His wings have stirred the atmosphere around you. His presence now encircles you, hovering with urgency, waiting for your agreement, waiting for your stillness, your listening, your surrender. But hear this. This message is not for everyone. This message is not for the sleeping. This message is not for the indifferent. This message is only for the awakened. Only for the spiritually sensitive. Only for those whose ears are tuned to the frequency of heaven's whisper. If your heart has been stirred, if your peace has been disturbed, then this is for you. The Spirit says, be still. Do not rush. Do not speak. Do not assume. There is revelation coming, but it is clothed in silence. The only way to see it is to stop looking with the eyes of emotion and start seeing with the eyes of the Spirit. Stay alert. Stay quiet. Stay covered. Type I am awake in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 313 is now activated. Archangel Michael, defender of the righteous, sword of fire, guardian of the throne, be present now. We invoke your strength, your truth, your precision. You who war not with flesh and blood, but with the principalities that hide behind masks. You who expose what is whispered in shadows and bring light to what has long been covered. You who were assigned to protect the chosen ones, come forth. Let your wings overshadow the listener. Let your sword separate lie from truth, loyalty from manipulation, deception from love. There is an urgency now, a divine tension pulling at the edges of your spirit. Can you feel it? Within hours, a veil is lifting. Within hours, something long tolerated will no longer be allowed. Within hours, what you suspected, what you pushed down, what you excused, what you blamed yourself for, will become undeniable. For heaven is done waiting. The courts of the Almighty have issued a decree. The time of delay is over. The era of quiet betrayal ends now. You trusted them, but heaven saw the deception you couldn't. You opened your heart, but heaven saw their hidden agenda. You gave and gave time, forgiveness, money, love, but heaven saw what they took when you were weakest. They wore your kindness like a cloak, but behind your back, they danced with the serpent. They whispered lies into others' ears, planting seeds against your name, even while calling you family. This is not just betrayal. This is violation of sacred covenant, and it has reached heaven. This message comes not from man, not from emotion, not from suspicion, but from the watchers assigned to your calling. It comes from the record of your tears. from the unanswered prayers that have now reached their appointed time. The message you are hearing is a divine interruption, a heavenly alert. It is not random. It is not general. It is not gentle. It is a sword in your spirit, and it has been sent only to the chosen. Yes, only the chosen will discern it. Only the awakened will hear past the sound into the signal. Only the anointed will realize. This is not about revenge. This is about revelation. Because there is something coming to light by sunrise. Yes, by sunrise. Something hidden will confront your spirit. A conversation. A misstep. A sudden confession. Or perhaps no words at all. Only a feeling too strong to ignore. Whatever the form, whatever the hour, by the breaking of a new day, you will know. But do not be afraid. Do not panic. Do not chase for confirmation when heaven is already convicting your spirit. For this is not just about knowing who betrayed you. This is about knowing why heaven allowed you to remain blind for a time. There was a delay in exposure. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. You had to mature spiritually before you could see the difference between the snake and the sibling, between the companion and the covert enemy, between family by blood and enemies in disguise. You had to learn not to judge by closeness, but by spiritual fruit. And now, the moment has come. Archangel Michael has been dispatched. Not just to fight, not just to defend, but to reveal. And with every beat of your heart, the veil is thinning. With every breath you take, the silence is cracking. With every second that passes, your spiritual eyes are opening. You are not crazy. You are not paranoid. You are not imagining it. What you feel is real. What your gut has sensed for months, even years, was discernment, not insecurity. What they tried to make you question about yourself was never your flaw, it was your prophetic sensitivity. They saw your light and mistook it for naivety. They mistook your forgiveness for foolishness. But heaven knew better. You are the called one. You are the marked one. You are the protected one. Heaven is now stepping in, with fire, with force, with finality. And you are being given this warning not to retaliate but to prepare. By sunrise, the line will be drawn. Will you be on the side of silence and spiritual wisdom, or on the side of emotional reaction and delayed healing? Let Archangel Michael guide your response. Let heaven lead your heart. Let truth be your weapon, not words. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 1717 is now surrounding you. Your signs. Quiet signs. Subtle, almost invisible. A silence that hung too long after you spoke. A shifting in the eyes when truth was near. A sudden change in routine. Not enough to accuse, but enough to make your soul stir. You noticed their tone became sharper when you mentioned your dreams. You saw how they smiled with their mouth, but not with their eyes. You felt how they began withdrawing, emotionally first, then physically, until their presence was more obligation than love. Heaven is confirming what your heart could never prove. You watched them distance themselves while pretending nothing changed. They excused their absence with busy lives, their moodiness with stress. But deep down, your spirit knew. Something was wrong. Something had shifted. Something had turned. They knew you were under attack, but they offered no covering. They watched you battle in silence and never asked if you needed prayer. They saw you struggling financially, emotionally, spiritually, and instead of helping, they judged, they gossiped, or they vanished. They watched you bleed and stayed quiet. They let you suffer. They let you explain away their neglect as your imagination. And still, you loved them. Still, you trusted them. Still, you opened your door, your heart, your resources. And that is what heaven calls betrayal. Not because you expected perfection, but because you extended grace, and they exploited it. Not because you needed them to save you, but because when you were in your wilderness, they chose to spectate instead of stand beside you. The betrayal didn't come in one moment. No, that would have been easier. It came in waves. It came in patterns. It came in small, consistent withdrawals of honor and protection. It came in the slow death of loyalty. It came in conversations they had behind your back while smiling to your face. It came in the form of passive attacks, subtle mockery, and hidden jealousy. And you absorbed it. You explained it. You justified it. Because the thought of betrayal from someone that close was too painful to face. Because family is supposed to mean safety, loyalty, refuge. But heaven says this: blood does not sanctify. Behavior does. And now, your spirit is awakening to what your heart tried to deny. You are beginning to remember the conversations that felt wrong, the moments you felt dishonored, the way they always made you feel too much or too little. You are beginning to realize that what you felt wasn't emotional instability, it was spiritual perception. And now the Spirit of God is stirring the truth. Heaven is pulling back the curtain. And the exposure is not just about them. It's about you. Because you must now reclaim what you lost while trying to protect the connection. You must now admit that loyalty cost you too much. You must now face what you feared. They were never truly for you. They were sent to monitor you, not to multiply you. They were connected by blood, but not by spirit. They were standing beside you, but never walking with you. And now the Lord says, no more ignoring, no more denying, no more explaining away what I've exposed. This is the hour of unveiling. The mystery is becoming memory. The hidden is being dragged into the light. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more spirit-led guidance, prophetic warnings, and divine revelations, delivered straight to your soul when you need them most. Type ISE clearly now in the comments if this message has pierced your spirit. Blessing code 4141 is activated in your atmosphere. This is not just about people. This is not just about betrayal. This is about a spiritual war, and you, chosen one, are in the middle of it. What has felt like relational pain is in fact the residue of spiritual interference. This betrayal was never random. It was strategic. It was orchestrated by forces that do not fear your name, but they tremble at your calling. Because your anointing carries weight. Because your destiny breaks generational cycles. Because your light is a threat to every system of darkness planted in your bloodline. So the enemy didn't attack you with strangers. He used those close enough to touch your trust. He wrapped spiritual warfare in emotional entanglements. He dressed sabotage in smiles. He hid spiritual assassins in the garments of kinship. And now heaven is pulling the veil off, not just to expose them, but to show you how to fight with wisdom, not just emotion. This was a test wrap in relationship. A divine examination sent to measure your discernment, your spiritual maturity, and your commitment to your calling over your comfort. The enemy knew he couldn't stop your purpose, so he tried to fracture your faith. He tried to make you doubt your hearing. He tried to make you question your instincts. He tried to wound you so deeply with betrayal that you'd never trust again. But listen, heaven never left you. Angels were watching when the betrayal happened. Heaven recorded every sigh. And now, the Spirit of the Lord speaks through this message to tell you, your trust was targeted because your trust is powerful. When you give someone access to your spirit, to your heart, to your vision, you give them influence. The enemy sought to sabotage that trust because he knew if he could pollute your inner circle, he could delay your destiny. But he failed, because even though you were wounded, you remained worshipful. Even though you were pierced, you stayed positioned. Even though your heart broke, your spirit did not bow to bitterness. You passed the test, and now the heavens are preparing for your elevation. The betrayal came because of your light. The attack came because of your assignment. And the closer you get to the release of your destiny, the more violently darkness tries to interrupt you. But this is your confirmation. You are closer than you've ever been. Now, heaven is watching how you respond. Will you retaliate or release? Will you argue or rise? Will you waste energy confronting the betrayer, or will you shift your eyes to the throne and let the judge speak for you? Because the greatest revenge is not anger, it's ascension. The greatest clapback is not shouting, it's soaring. The greatest justice is not punishment, it's purpose. And you, child of God, are being elevated even now. You are being prepared for places they were never meant to go. You are being positioned to carry out divine assignments that require emotional separation. Let them go. Let the truth rise. Let the betrayal serve its purpose, because what they meant to break you has only built you. Type "I am unstoppable" in the comments if this truth aligns with your spirit. Blessing code 8888 is now wrapping around your path. Hear this with soberness. A confrontation is being stirred right now, not by your doing but by the divine orchestration of heaven's hand. A holy disruption has entered your atmosphere, and it cannot be ignored any longer. The cup of hidden betrayal has reached its tipping point. The silence will break. The secrets will surface. The masks will slip. And the truth they worked so hard to bury, will now begin to press through, like light cracking through a veil of darkness. Do not be surprised when you feel the tension shift in the air. Do not be confused when odd coincidences begin to stack. Do not mistake divine signs for emotional illusions. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy unfolding. For the Spirit of the Lord declares, within 72 hours, truth will pressure the surface. The unspoken will demand speech. The buried will resurrect. The room will change. The tone will shift. And you must be ready. You may not see it coming in the way you expect, but it is already in motion. Conversations are being had about you that will leak through lips they can no longer control. The weight of guilt is pressing down on their conscience. Your peace, your strength, your unwavering love, it's unsettling them now. Because you never retaliated. You never cursed them back. You never exposed what you knew in part. But now heaven is saying, the time of quiet is over. I will expose what you were too loyal to reveal. And when it happens, when the veil is lifted, your spirit will not be shocked, because the confirmation will resonate like thunder in your soul. Everything you sensed, everything you couldn't quite explain, it will all suddenly make sense. And with it will come the release. With it will come the exhale. With it will come the shift in power. Because God is not just exposing the betrayal, He is flipping the balance of power in your favor. But beware not of them but of your own emotions. The urge to respond, to confront, to vindicate yourself will rise like a storm. But that's not your assignment. Your role is to remain grounded, still, discerning. Your peace will provoke their guilt. Your silence will echo louder than accusation. They will try to bait you into reaction. They will try to twist the narrative. They may even play the victim. But you must be unmoved. Heaven fights for those who trust in timing, not temper. Do not return fire for fire. Return observation for offense. Return prayer for prejudice. Return silence for slander. For heaven's justice is not only accurate, it is customized, and it is coming now. The spiritual heat will intensify. Things may feel unsettled. You may lose sleep. You may feel anxious. But that is not fear, that is spiritual pressure, preparing to birth truth. Remain alert. Remain aligned. Remain under covering. A divine confrontation is imminent. And when it comes, you will not fight, you will stand. Type "I will stand" in truth in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 7227 is now activated in your environment. Now listen carefully. This is not the time to act in the flesh. This is the hour of silence, the holy kind of silence, the kind that hides you in plain sight while heaven handles what would have broken you. This is not your battle. This is not your vengeance. This is not your platform to prove. This is your call to stillness. For heaven fights when you remain silent. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is the sword of the mature. You may feel the fire rising inside you. You may feel the need to speak your truth. But your power in this hour will not be in your voice. It will be in your posture. Withdraw. Observe. Pray. Heaven's strategy for you is hidden warfare. There is power in your quiet. There is thunder in your stillness. There is warfare in your worship. You do not need to announce what God is already revealing. Let the Spirit of God write the headline. Let the angels handle the retaliation. You, chosen one, are to walk in calm authority. Be still. Let them speak. Let them squirm. Let them stumble over their own words. Let them trip over their own lies. You don't have to expose them. Truth will. You don't have to prove anything. Your peace is already testifying. This is your divine strategy. Withdraw without drama. Disappear without declaration. And return only when God says the war is finished. And while you wait, speak these affirmations in your secret place. I am shielded. I am seen. I am covered. I am clear. I will not be moved by emotion. I will be led by the Spirit. My silence is not my surrender. My stillness is not my defeat. My patience is my weapon. Heaven is building a hedge around you. Your discernment is being sharpened. Your spiritual eyes are being upgraded. Every whisper of gossip, every dart of betrayal, every dagger of disloyalty, heaven is catching them before they touch your core. You are covered. But you must remain hidden for a season. Do not tell everyone what you are sensing. Do not share your visions prematurely. Some ears are still loyal to the ones heaven is exposing. Protect your destiny. Cover your next move in mystery. Not everyone who listens loves you. Not everyone who hugs you honors you. And now, heaven is demanding separation before elevation. You will know when to speak. You will know when to re-enter. But for now, God says, be still. Let me speak for you. Every betrayal is being weighed. Every deception is being documented. Every word spoken in darkness is being rewritten in the courts of light. This is not just spiritual warfare. This is spiritual strategy. You fought enough. Now it's time to rest in God's defense. If this message has pierced your heart, stay in alignment. If this truth resonates in your spirit, do not react. Respond with reverence. Because stillness is not empty, it's loaded. Stillness is not passive, it's prophetic. Stillness is where angels move and justice flows. Be still. Be covered. Be wise. Type "I am shielded by heaven" in the comments if this word is for you. Lesson code 4411 is now flowing over your home. You are not the broken one anymore. Let every cell in your body absorb that truth. Let every lie spoken over your life dissolve under the weight of this divine revelation. You are not who the betrayal tried to shape you into. You are not the fragile version of yourself they thought they could manipulate. You are not the quiet, scared, emotionally dependent soul they believed would stay shackled to their silence. No, you are rising now. This pain has not just bruised you, it has built you. The betrayal was brutal, but it was also sacred, because it awakened your deeper strength. It refined your discernment. It matured your spirit. And now, in the quietness of your obedience, in the stillness of your alignment, something within you has changed. You've grown wings beneath your scars. You no longer look for validation from those who cannot see your value. You no longer seek love from those who only ever offered control. You no longer fight for spaces where your presence was only tolerated, not treasured. Something powerful has happened in your spirit. What once shattered you, now strengthens you. What once wounded you, now fuels your wisdom. What once bound you in grief, now ignites your glory. This betrayal did not come to end you. It came to introduce you. Introduce you to the version of yourself that had been hidden under the weight of compromise. The version of yourself that walks in authority, that sees clearly, that hears spiritually, that speaks with fire and stands without apology. You stopped drinking to keep the peace. You stopped hiding to keep from being envied. You stopped explaining your anointing to people who have no hunger for heaven. This shift is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. You are not becoming someone new, you are becoming who you always were before the wound taught you to dim your light. And now, heaven has confirmed it. You are chosen, and the betrayal was proof. For God does not allow pain without purpose, and heaven never permits external salvation as nefs. You didn't survive just to return to normal. You didn't endure all of that warfare just to keep walking in circles. You've crossed a spiritual line. You've passed a divine test. And now the heavens are responding with acceleration. This is your invitation to rise. Rise with new boundaries. Rise with new discernment. Rise with new boldness. Your silence has not been weakness. It has been womb. And what's been forming in that silence, strength, vision, clarity, power, is now ready to be revealed. You are not the wounded. You are the warrior. You are not the rejected. You are the resurrected. You are not the abandoned. You are the anointed. Heaven is commanding you now. Stop waiting for others to affirm what I've already revealed. Stop asking permission to rise. Stop second-guessing the voice of God just because others were too blind to see who you really were. It's time. It's time to walk in authority. It's time to speak from the healed place. It's time to let your fire be seen. The betrayers don't define you. The rejection doesn't determine your rank. God does. You are not who you were before the betrayal. and that is your strength. Type "I have risen" in the comments if you receive this shift. Lesson code 5544 is igniting breakthrough in your favor. Now comes the revelation, the unveiling of divine purpose hidden beneath the pain. Let your spirit open fully now, because what is being revealed in this hour is holy, ancient, and prophetic. This betrayal was not punishment, it was prophecy. This exposure is not destruction, it is elevation. Heaven delayed the truth for a reason. Not because you weren't loved, but because you weren't ready. Because exposure too early would have caused you to react from your wound, not respond from your wisdom. Because if God had shown you what was really happening behind the scenes back then, you would have cut ties prematurely and aborted the process meant to prepare you. But now you are ready. Now you have the maturity. Now you have the discernment. Now you have the stillness of spirit required to carry the revelation without revenge. The betrayal has served its purpose. It created the break that birthed your boldness. It tore the veil between the familiar and the divine. It opened the eyes of your spirit and awakened the roar within your soul. This is not just a moment. This is a mantle being released upon you. For the Lord says, this ends a cycle that ran for generations. This ends the pattern of silent loyalty to dysfunction. This ends the generational silence around spiritual attacks disguised as family dynamics. This ends the era of shrinking to keep peace with those sent to disturb your purpose. This cycle, where the anointed one suffers in silence to keep the family image intact, is broken. You have been selected to end it. You have been commissioned to carry what others could not. And heaven has backed your process with angelic reinforcement. An ancestor intervened. Yes, someone whose prayers carried through the bloodline. Someone who saw in the spirit what you would one day face, whispered your name before the throne of God. And heaven responded. Your name was whispered in heaven's court. Your pain was brought before the king. And from the courtroom came this judgment. Enough. Enough sabotage. Enough secret attacks. Enough manipulation disguised as family. Enough pretending. This exposure is heaven's answer to generations of hidden warfare. You are the breaker. You are the cycle ender. You are the one who sees and speaks and heals. And now, you are stepping into your next season unbound, unchained, and undeniably chosen. God hid the full truth for a season because He needed you to know who you were without their input. Heaven needed you to develop your voice without their control. And now that you have, now that your roots are deep and your discernment is sharpened, heaven is allowing the truth to rise like smoke from a fire that can no longer be contained. This is not drama. This is divine judgment. This is not chaos. This is closure. This is not punishment. This is positioning. And you, yes, you, are being called to walk forward now with clarity, with courage, and with crown in hand. Not because you fought for it, but because you waited for it. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure to subscribe for more spiritual insight, angelic warnings, and divine clarity that guides you through your storm and into your destiny. Type "I receive divine revelation" in the comments if this message is yours. Blessing code 7171 has been dispatched over your life. Now is the time to rise, not quietly, not hesitantly, but boldly, with purpose in your stride and fire in your voice. This betrayal, this pain, this wound was never meant to be your identity. It was meant to be your initiation, an unlocking, a doorway to the next version of you, the one who no longer shrinks, no longer doubts, no longer bends to stay acceptable, the one who carries heaven's word in their mouth and heaven's weight in their presence. Hear me clearly, your destiny is calling, and you must now speak what heaven has said. Speak it, not with trembling lips, but with the roar of someone who has walked through fire and come out refined. Declare it. I am chosen. I am called. I am covered. I am rising. Speak it until your soul catches up. Speak it until every chain tied to your silence breaks in the unseen realm. Speak it until the atmosphere around you shifts, for your silence has served its season. But now, silence must give way to decree. Now, you must declare what the betrayal tried to bury. Now, you must announce what the pain tried to delay. Now, you must walk in the authority that only comes through warfare. This is not just healing. This is heavenly promotion. What you endured in private has qualified you for a public mantle. The suffering was sacred. The waiting with preparation. The betrayal was a blueprint. And now, your purpose has reached ignition. Step into the truth. Release the past. Cut the cord. Renounce the lie that told you this was your fault. Break the agreement you made with fear just to keep the peace. That season is over. You are not a spiritual prisoner. You are a prophetic pioneer. Heaven is waiting on your agreement. Not the kind of agreement that says, I hope things change. No, the kind that says, I accept the weight. I accept the mantle. I accept the call. I receive the clarity. I walk in divine identity. Speak these declarations aloud until your bones remember. I step into truth. I release what wounded me. I accept the assignment. I forgive without reconciliation. I walk away without bitterness. There is a fire rising in your soul, not just to recover, but to reign. This is not about revenge. This is about ruling from a healed place. This is not about proving I'm wrong. This is about proving heaven right, because heaven said you were anointed before they ever lied. Heaven said you were chosen before they ever rejected you. Heaven said you were marked before they ever manipulated you. It's time now. Time to speak with clarity. Time to pray with fire. Time to walk with confidence. You've outgrown the version of yourself that betrayal created. Now you walk as the version that revelation unlocked. The door to your destiny is wide open, not because of what they did, but because of what you survived. You are not stepping forward wounded. You are stepping forward activated. Type I am walking in purpose in the comments if this word confirms your spirit. Blessing code 3030 is now igniting your path. While you wept, heaven moved. You didn't see it, but they did. The angels, the watchers, the warriors of light. They recorded every betrayal not just as information, but as evidence. Every silent cry, every choke-back sob, every moment you smiled through pain so no one would see the truth. Heaven saw it all. And in the spirit realm, something sacred was taking place. A silent exchange, a supernatural transaction, a holy reversal being written into your story. While you were questioning why, the angels were documenting the what. While you were feeling forgotten, heaven was building a case on your behalf. While you were lowering your voice to keep peace, heaven was increasing your authority behind the veil. There is a trade happening right now in the spirit. Heaven is exchanging the wounds they caused for wisdom you couldn't earn. Heaven is exchanging your tears for treasures. Heaven is exchanging your silence for strategy. Heaven is exchanging what was stolen for something sanctified. They thought they were getting away with it. They thought your quiet meant ignorance. They mistook your stillness for surrender. But what they didn't realize was that you were under divine protection, that your name had been called into spiritual court, that your intercessors, both living and ancestral, had taken your case before the throne. And now the ruling has gone forth. An ancestor intervened. Someone who walked this earth before you. Someone whose life bore the same patterns of betrayal, cycles of silence, and heavy chains of loyalty to the wrong people, cried out from eternity. They interceded. They pled your case in the heavenly realm, and God heard. They asked God to break the cycle in your generation, and God chose you to be the breaker. So while you were grieving, they were trading. Trading hidden sorrow for public strength. Trading patterns of dysfunction for a mantle of deliverance. You didn't just survive. You've inherited something powerful. And now, what was stolen from your life is being returned. Not in the same form, not from the same people, but better, bigger, brighter, and blessed. The relationships that broke you will be replaced by ones that build you. The opportunities they blocked will be replaced by doors no one can shut. The peace they disturbed will be replaced by unshakable spiritual authority. And this reversal is not just about restoration. It is about revelation. Because now you see. Now your eyes are open. Now your spirit recognizes the sound of deception before it speaks. You are no longer blind, no longer unaware, no longer unguarded. Your spirit always knew. That gut feeling, that subtle check, that internal red flag, it wasn't anxiety. It was discernment. And now your discernment is sharp. Now your senses are refined. Now you trust your inner knowing because you know the Spirit speaks there. You are not who you were when this began. You are wiser. You are deeper. You are wrapped in divine fire. And the angels that wept with you are now warring for you. Because heaven has ruled in your favor, you are not just walking away from betrayal. You are walking into a blessing exchange that your enemies will not understand. You lost pieces of yourself, yes, but what you are gaining now is the full version of your calling. You are not returning empty. You are returning equipped. You are not coming back to prove. You are coming back to possess. Everything they thought they silenced, heaven is now amplifying. Everything they tried to bury, heaven is resurrecting. Every weapon that formed has now backfired into blessings. Type "I receive my heavenly exchange" in the comments if this section sealed a confirmation in your spirit. Blessing code 9119 is now flowing through your inheritance. The gavel has struck in the courts of heaven. Justice has already left the throne, and it is swift. Make no mistake, God is not indifferent to what happened. He was not distant when they mocked you. He did not look away when they slandered your name. He did not sleep through the nights you cried into your pillow, battling heartbreak wrapped in silence. No, he watched, he recorded, and now he is responding. Spiritual justice is not always loud at first. It often moves like wind, quiet, but unrelenting. It often arrives in seasons of strange peace, when suddenly those who once dominated your spirit can no longer even access your energy. It arrives in the shift, when what once strained you now disgusts you, when what once kept you bound now provokes your boldness, when what once held you hostage now bows at your feet. The scales have tipped, and they've tipped in your favor. The ones who betrayed you did not just violate your trust, they touched a chosen vessel. They crossed a spiritual boundary, And now the consequence is unfolding. Not because you cursed them, but because you released them. You let go. You stepped back. You chose obedience over vengeance. And heaven took it from there. Their actions are now boomeranging. What they sent toward you in malice is returning to them in measure. The lies they told are circling back. The curses they whispered are ricocheting. The setups they schemed are turning on themselves. But hear me clearly. This is not about their destruction. It's about your vindication. God does not punish for sport. He executes justice to establish order, to remind creation, touch not my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. What you lost will be returned, not just returned, but returned with interest, multiplied, purified, glorified. This is divine reversal in full motion. Where you were dishonored, you will be publicly validated. Where you were excluded, you will be strategically elevated. Where you were falsely labeled, God will make your character undeniable. You will be blessed in front of those who buried you. You will be celebrated by others for the very thing they tried to shame. This is your Esther moment, where the gallows they built become their own undoing. This is your Joseph hour, where the pit they threw you in becomes the palace God positions you in. And as this divine reversal unfolds, keep your spirit pure. Do not gloat. Do not parade their fall. Do not lower your dignity to match their dysfunction. Because justice is sacred, and heaven's justice is personal, perfect, and patient. You are stepping into the portion that your pain qualified you for. This is not reward for surviving. It is compensation for what was stolen. Heaven is restoring your time, your confidence, your clarity, and your joy. You are being paid back, in peace, in purpose, in prophetic fulfillment. You will look back and see it all clearly. The setup, the silence, the betrayal, the delay. It was all part of the reversal plan. And now, the circle closes. You have been justified. You are being exalted. You are walking in divine recompense. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $5. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure to subscribe for more timely revelations, spiritual clarity, and divine strategies to walk through betrayal, warfare, and elevation with grace. Type justice has arrived in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 7070 is covering you now. Heaven has spoken. The veil has lifted. The betrayer had been exposed, not to shame them, but to free you. You are no longer bound by confusion. You are no longer tied to false loyalties. You are no longer enslaved to relationships that drained your light and silenced your voice. The exposure was not meant to humiliate. It was meant to liberate. Because your future requires freedom. And now, that freedom is yours. You have been sealed by truth. You have been seen by heaven. You have been sent into your next chapter with fire and favor. No longer will you apologize for being chosen. No longer will you shrink to fit into old spaces. No longer will you delay your destiny out of misplaced guilt or fear of confrontation. What they meant for harm, God lit for glory. The betrayal was the doorway. The silence was a tunnel. What the exposure? The exposure was the light. And now you walk forward, not with resentment, but with revelation. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. Not in weakness, but in divine confidence. May your heart find rest in the justice of God. May your soul find healing in the fire that tried to consume you but refined you instead. May your name echo in heavenly places as one who passed the test, endured the fire, and emerged with power. You are a weapon. You are a vessel. You are a voice. You are called. You are covered. You are rising. And as you go forward, may angels walk beside you. May discernment guard your heart. May your boundaries be firm, your spirit be soft, and your vision be crystal clear. You are no longer who you were. You are everything heaven said you'd become. This is not just an ending. This is an anointing. Now go. The betrayal no longer holds you. The blessing has overtaken you. Type "I am walking in glory" in the comments to receive this final seal. Blessing code 1616 is upon your journey.